The battle for Kooyong.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
So I really hadn't intended to do another Kooyong video before election day, but since pre-poll opened, things have escalated. And by things, I really mean the general douchebaggery of the Liberal Party and the Amelia Hamer campaign.
The struggles of being a landlord in the state of Victoria at the moment, because that is really, really hard.
Yes, that Amelia Hamer. This pre-poll stuff needs to be highlighted, documented, and really needs to be studied for future generations. I caught this video on Twitter Monday night that showed the gauntlet Kooyong voters had to run in order to get to the polling booth in Malvern, I think it was.
Oh, this place is a maze.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
It's probably one of the more juvenile political things I've seen in a long time, and as someone who can be quite juvenile myself,
I think they are pretty impressive testicles.
You are the king grub.
Okay.
at times, I feel like I'm fairly well qualified to make that call. In this case though, juvenile may not even be doing this justice. I thought maybe this was an isolated thing, a one-off, but nah. It looks like it's difficult to get along to a pre-poll booth without tripping over either an Amelia Hamer sign or a sign attacking her opponent. The pictures here are out the front of a pre-poll booth on a busy tram line where it appears the Liberals constructed something close to a roadside barrier. Really not great for people trying to get on and off a tram, I'm guessing. So after some complaints, the council were forced to step in and they started to remove some of the problematic signage. News outlets have reported that all candidates had been informed of the rules that limited signs to one per candidate, and that Amelia Hamer was the only candidate that has failed to comply with these rules. Worth noting, the Liberal Party had been warned prior to the removal of their signs that they were breaking the rules, but apparently chose to ignore the warning, because I guess rules don't really apply to the Liberal Party, right? And rather than being grown-ups, accepting the council's decision and playing by the rules, the Liberal Party have preferred to pull out their chequebook and take the council to court. I mean, just take a look at some of these images. Putting politics aside, it's hard to argue that public safety and pedestrian access aren't issues here, particularly when you see images of a school crossing supervisor having to pick up Amelia Hamer's sign after it's blown out onto the road. Amelia Hamer's volunteers appear to be launching pre-dawn missions to lock down every piece of real estate too, and the signs continue to go up. Not even the threat of tens of thousands of dollars worth of fines seems to deter them. Really can smell the desperation from here. And when it comes to campaign volunteers, it looks like the Libs in Kooyong have had their ample support of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, aka the Exclusive Brethren.
Well, they've been called everything from a cult to a secretive sect.
Really should Google the Exclusive Brethren. It's a deep, deep rabbit hole.
This separatist Christian sect doesn't allow its members to vote, but as we speak, those members are swamping marginal Labor electorates around the country that Liberal and National Party candidates are hoping to win. These members of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, formerly known as the Exclusive Brethren, have been organised in their hundreds to go to these electorates to try and sway people to vote for the Conservative parties. Campaign workers at the coalface say that some of the behaviour of these people has been quite extraordinary. We've heard allegations that they've been shoulder bumping people out of the way, that they've been escorting elderly people from their cars into the polling booth to try and keep them away from the other party workers. I've seen documents that show that these efforts are coordinated by senior leaders of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church, and that people have been told to fly under the radar, to go undercover.
So I'm wondering, are we to draw the conclusion here that the Brethren's values align closely with those of Amelia Hamer? Is that what's going on here? That has to be it, right? Because how else could you explain why a small army of Brethren descended on Kooyong to campaign for Amelia Hamer? After all, the Brethren have a number of beliefs, one of which reportedly says that members are not allowed to vote. As one ex-member put it, they believed, as written in Scripture, there's no authority except from God, and their citizenship is in heaven. So yeah, it's really interesting to see reports of the Brethren apparently being deployed to marginal seats, including Kooyong. Elbow has some legitimate questions.
What I'm concerned about in terms of people handing out is the mass handing out of exclusive brethren or whatever they're calling themselves these times. You know, frankly, it doesn't stack up that hundreds of people have just happened to turn up at polling booths, some travelling across state boundaries to hand out for the Liberal Party wearing Liberal Party shirts. what is the quid pro quo, given that organisation doesn't vote in elections and given the views that they have?
Curiously, besides Elbow's comments there, not a whole heap of coverage of this story on Sky News, but comments made by a Monique Ryan volunteer that seemed to vaguely suggest they'd been told to vote for Ryan, well, that apparently deserves wall-to-wall coverage. Monique Ryan was asked about this issue on Sky. Her response is worth listening to.
There was a video posted online last night on The Age of some of your volunteers saying that they had been required to vote, and then they were your volunteers as well to vote for you. They attended the Hubei Association. What do you say to those claims? Is it a good look for your campaign?
Well, I think those two volunteers who are being interviewed in the video that's been shown on social media are people who attended a dinner where a community leader said that he supported me and he supported my values and thought that I'd been very supportive of the community in recent years, and for that reason he thought people should support me.
James Patterson's calling for an investigation into this, calling it foreign. It could be perceived as foreign interference. What do you say to that?
I think, so in response to the article that was in The Age, this morning, and just because I don't want there to be any concerns about this, and in the interest of full transparency, I've contacted the AEC and the Department of Parliamentary Services and given them the details that I gave to the Age yesterday about my relationship with those volunteers and with Mr G. And I've said, look, if you've got any concerns, please investigate. There's nothing to it. But I'm very, very happy. I think transparency is important and people do need to have faith in the democratic process. And so I think if there's any concerns at all, that they should undertake an investigation.
Self-referral of an issue that may well be a media beat-up as a result of a misunderstanding. In all likelihood, there's really nothing there, but it'll be investigated nonetheless. Regardless, this sure as hell plays well with the Sky audience. And can you imagine what the Sky News coverage would have looked like if Ryan had conscripted members of a Christian sect that don't believe in voting to man the pre-poll booths for her? I reckon that may have even received the 1 hour Peter Credlin exclusive treatment. I touched on it in the long video. To me, there seems to be a real sense of entitlement from the Liberal Party when it comes to the seat of Kooyong. It's their seat, no one else should have it. In my view, it's this sense of entitlement that contributed to them losing the seat at the last election. And it's that sense of entitlement that can at least go part of the way to explaining their behaviour as they go about trying to regain the seat this time around. There's a real air of desperation around their 2025 campaign that's only growing the closer we get to election day.
I have never seen so many people out there and so proud to be voting Liberal. They are taking that Liberal how to vote card, they are waving it high above their head or saying, go Liberal as they go into the voting booth, and I've never seen that before. Did that happen?
The final days of the Kooyong campaign have given us what I reckon is the Ozpol image of 2025. This happy snap taken by James Brickwood deserves a place in the Louvre. I think it really captures the state of the Liberal Party perfectly. Like I've said before, in terms of who I think will end up victorious in Kooyong, I've really got no idea. I genuinely feel like it might be a coin toss at the moment, which is a little bit sad to be perfectly honest. Because I think it will remain close, largely due to people like this.
For the first time, Brenda is voting in Kooyong. Voters like her have already made up their mind.
What do you know about Amelia?
Young. I think exciting. I think we need a woman. I think it's good.
If you don't mind me asking, how have you traditionally voted in previous elections?
Same old, same old. Liberal.
I think the Liberal Party rely on the Brendas of the world for their very survival. So if you live in Kooyong or any Liberal seat for that matter, please don't be a Brenda.